Welcome to Ordinary to Badass, episode number 331. In this episode, you're going to hear all about last episode we heard about attachment and how it's killing your confidence. And in this episode, you're going to get actionable tips and strategies, things you can implement moving forward. So last episode was so good, but this one is going to get into the nitty-gritty, a little bit of a remix episode, but it's showing you, okay, I know where I was, but how do I get to where I want to go? And so this is going to be actionable steps to help you to get to where you want to go. Speaking of getting to where you want to be, I want to remind you that you are a badass. Sometimes it is so hard to take it in and to actually realize all of the stuff that we have come through to get to where we are today. And I want to help you do that. ordinarytobadass.com/fast. It will help you realize all of the badass things that you've done and overcome and the steps that you've taken to get to where you are. And even if you don't go to ordinarytobadass.com/fast, you can still recognize what you've gone through to get to where you are today. I think that even doing a process like every day, write down 3 wins you had that day, it can be hard. And I think that the more we do this, the easier it gets. And I'll be honest with you, I've tried this and then I fall off, so I'm going to pick this back up again because I think it is essential to believing in yourself. And it's like, you didn't come this far. You didn't do all the things, go through all that hard stuff to just, nothing. Not be grateful for it, not be thankful for it, not be glad that you're here and you're on the other side of it. Or if you're still going through it, you will get to the other side of it. And so really, I want to take time to celebrate all of the strength that you have within you, all of the things that you've done and overcome. I am proud of you for that. It takes gut, it takes grit, it takes being consistent and persistent and pushing through those hard times. So take a few minutes at the end of each day and just write down 3 things that you've accomplished. These don't have to be huge, monumental things. They can be just little micro wins. I firmly believe it's the micro wins, the ordinary stuff, like the little stuff that we do every single day. Those micro wins lead to the big stuff. They lead to the big badassery. And I want you to be there. I want you to do it. And so recognize all of the stuff that you've done and overcome. And it starts with today, right? If we can't recognize the good things that we've done today, how in the world are we going to recognize the even bigger things that we do tomorrow or the next day? It starts with right now. So start writing down those things. It kind of makes me think of I'm not big into football, but it makes me think of them going through the tunnel as you're about to go into the arena and you're getting ready and everybody, the fans are cheering, they're all hyped up for you and you're running through and it's you don't let them cheer for you because, oh no, I didn't do anything good. No, take the attention off me. And you don't pay attention to all of the wins that you've had. Don't do that to yourself. Let people celebrate you. Let you celebrate you. That's the big part, is letting yourself celebrate you. So if you were an athlete, would you go through that tunnel, go into the arena and not let people cheer for you? No. That would pump you up. That would get you going. That would make it so next time you're oh yeah, this is cool, right? It gets a little bit motivation in you, but you should be doing that for yourself or at least picturing that. And it can be for the tiniest of wins. You don't have to win a football game to get cheered for, right? Well, actually, that's even at the beginning of the game that everybody's all pumped and excited. So this could be the beginning of your game. You could be pumped and excited and ready for what is next. Pretend like you were running through that tunnel because you were going to the next big thing. And so every day, look at these 3 little things that you've done. Again, little things turn into big things. So just rejoice, embrace, recognize the cool, badass things that you're doing every single day if you want to be excited about the bigger things that you're doing in your future. With that, let's get to the episode.
Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to Ordinary to Badass. Whether you're ordinary or you're badass, I am glad you're here. Today, we're going to talk about different tips and strategies, how we can remove attachment so that it's not sucking our confidence out, right? Or taking down our confidence. Number one, attach to abilities. So we talked about that idea that we're attaching too much to our abilities as opposed to attaching to our intentions. And there was a quote from Wayne Dyer that I shared: never attach your confidence to your abilities, attach it to your intentions. So good. That is like what your purpose is more of intention, right? And so you intend to be a badass. So start attaching it to your intentions, not your abilities. And really, a strategy that you can use to do this is start making sure that your intentions are aligned with your goals and values, right? And so instead of just setting goals or trying to be perfect, no, look at your intention and make sure that it's aligned with your value system. And then part of that is like making sure you have a growth mindset, that you are willing to grow, learn, change, expand. Fixed mindset, I think this was a book by Carol Dweck on the growth mindset, and it's really fixed mindset. You're not willing to grow, change, expand. You think you have to stay the same for life, or growth mindset where you are willing to change and learn and grow. So have a growth mindset and embrace your challenges, things that come your way. Be committed to learning from them. It's not always easy when you fail or make a mistake or something to learn from it. At least have that expectation that that's what you'd like to do. Have that intention, right? That's a better word for it. Have that intention that you know what you'd like to do. And your intention is to have a growth mindset. Number two, attachment to age. That is sucking your confidence. So instead of attaching to our age, like, oh, I'm too old, so I can't do this, or I'm too young, so I can't do that. Instead of doing that, then we're going to look at experience and personal growth and really embrace new experiences, embrace the new challenges that are coming our way. You can do this at any age. It's not an age thing, right? So really look at experiences and try to get more experience under your belt, and focus as a strategy, focus on where can you step out of your comfort zone? What do you want to accomplish? What's your intention? You could say goals, but I like intention. What's your purpose? What do you want to do? Okay, what's one little thing you can do to step just a little bit out of your comfort zone? My friend Mike Bechtel was on the podcast, and he's an author, best-selling author, and he was like, you don't have to run and leap over your comfort zone. You just have to put your toe over the edge just a little bit. And that's all you have to do. Number three, attachment to others. We have this thing where we get attached to what other people are doing, to what they want, and really start doing all of the things other people are doing instead of focusing on what we want to do. So you can start to take ownership of the things you want in your life, the things you want to accomplish, the things you want to see or do. And how can you do that? How can you do things alone, even when it feels uncomfortable? Maybe that's traveling alone. Maybe that's going to a conference alone. Maybe it's just going to the grocery store by yourself because you always want your kids to go or somebody else to go with you because you don't want to be by yourself, or out to a movie or dinner by yourself. That can be hard for a lot of people. So this action step that you can take is to start doing things on your own. Trust your own knowledge, skills, and abilities. And really, once you do trust that, or you start going out, the more you do it, the more you're going to say, oh, I can figure this out. I can do this. Even though it might be comfortable, it might be hard, I can do hard things. And it gives you some resilience. It gives you confidence that you can do it by yourself, that you don't need somebody else. I'm not saying that you don't need a tribe of badasses, because of course you do. We all do. But there are certain times where just going within, like it gives so much power to go within, to know what you want on the inside. So that way you can spread that to the outside world, right? Okay. Number 4 is attaching outcomes. Now we have to look at focusing so much on the outcome versus focus on the effort that you put into it. Instead of like worrying, what's the outcome going to be? Is it going to turn out the way I want? Or getting upset with the outcome because it didn't turn out the way that you want? No, focus on the effort. How much effort did you put in? If you didn't put in any effort, okay, cool. Maybe I'll learn from that and do different next time. If you put in a ton of effort and failed, well, give yourself a pat on the back. And I'm being serious about that because it's like you put in the effort. Now, what can you learn from it? What can you learn from that thing that you think you failed at? From the outcome that you didn't want? Is there something you can learn from it? Is there something you can maybe tweak slightly for next time? Maybe you can just ask for feedback, right? Maybe you went for an interview and it didn't turn out how you wanted. What can I improve upon next time? Sometimes I have to go to court and testify on things that happened or calls that I went to. And so I have to go to court and testify. And afterwards, usually, especially if it's where I have to testify for a long period of time, I will usually contact the prosecutor and say, hey, what can I improve upon? Or next time, what can I work on? And that way I know, because almost always I feel like, oh, I could have answered this question better. I could have done this better. It's a learning experience, right? So just look at it and say, okay, what can I do better next time? What can I learn from this? Instead of attaching to the outcome that you don't want. So a strategy is look at goals versus looking at outcomes and really celebrate the effort, celebrate the progress. And if you have little ones, turn this off if they can't hear cussing. But it's time to tell yourself, like, bitch, you're doing a good job. And I was going to sing it, but I can't sing at all. But there's that TikTok meme. If you even type that into TikTok, it shows you the video because it went viral probably 2 years ago. I don't know. But I always think that, like, when I need a reminder, I'm like, oh, yeah, B, you're doing a good job, right? Bitch, you're doing a good job. Because it's like sometimes we need to remember it's not about like the little things that suck, or it's focusing on the good things, focusing on where you are doing a good job, focusing on the effort you put into something as opposed to the final outcome. You are doing a good job. Keep on going, keep on pushing one day at a time, and just look for those micro wins. They might seem small, but that's what leads to us feeling even more badass, right? It leads to a lot over time because it starts to build momentum. Okay, moving right along. Number 5 is attachment to the past. So ask yourself, like, instead of being so attached to the past and how you did things, ask yourself, how would you do it different in the future? That can be a hard one, right? Because we like to beat ourselves up. Or even if you are beating yourself up, then you catch it and you're like, okay, wait, how can I do this different in the future? If I was to come across this situation, how can I do it different in the future? In the last episode, I talked about myself on a plane incident that happened and how I found myself feeling insecure. So go back, listen to that episode if you want to hear that story, but really focusing on what you can change in the future as opposed to the past, because you can't change the past, right? And so a strategy here when you're finding yourself caught in the past is really using curiosity, just asking yourself questions and be like, isn't that interesting? Like, why did I feel that way? Or why didn't I feel safe? Or how could I do things differently next time? What would be a different outcome that I would like? Right? You just ask yourself a ton of different questions. Just be curious about it instead of being like, why did you do this? Like, that doesn't help anybody, right? How could it be different next time? What's the outcome I would have wanted? Okay, how can I make that outcome happen the next time around, right? But it's just asking yourself questions, getting curious, and be a little bit more playful with it instead of being so hard on yourself. Number 6 is comparison. And comparison is the thief of joy, or compare and despair, however you want to take it. As John Lee Dumas says that, the compare and despair. But we get sucked into a comparisons trap. And where we see this most often right now is social stinking media. On social media, it's so easy to get sucked into it and keep looking at it. But then you look at what everybody else has and what you don't have. And that leaves you feeling bummed out, right? So really realize when you're looking at it, this is just a curated version of their life. This is the best their life could be. Really, chances are what you see on social media is the best their life possibly could be, because we don't see all of the background stuff, all of the stuff going on the other side. So a strategy you can implement is limit your time on social media. If that's something that is triggering you and causing you to compare yourself and your situation to everybody else or to other people, limit your time on there. Also, stop following people. If what they're doing bothers you or triggers you, you don't have to follow them, or you can mute them. Maybe it's a friend or family member and you don't want them to know. Mute them. There's nothing wrong with that. It's your mental health here. What's more important, right? Okay. Number 7 is seeking external validation. And your self-worth does not depend on other people and their opinions of you. You really have to work hard on this. Like, work on, what do you want? What is it on the inside? As opposed to what does everybody else want for you? Because if you don't make a decision, if you don't choose for yourself, so many other people will choose for you. Life will choose for you. So be intentional, right? But it comes from within, it comes from inside. So set personal goals, set standards for yourself. I like intentions, set intentions for yourself. But then also acknowledge your achievements, acknowledge how far you've come, the things that you've done, the good job that you're doing. Number 8, your past failures and your past regrets. I don't know. I always think of regrets instead of regrets. I don't remember what movie that was on or where I heard that, but regrets. Stop focusing on them, right? We're so attached to where we failed before and what we wish we could redo. Learn from past mistakes, and we can use them as a stepping stone to the future. Okay, that kind of paved my way. That showed me what I did wrong, showed me how I could adjust, how I could tweak a little bit. So past failures and regrets can be learning moments. And a strategy that you can use is just practice being more mindful, practice forgiveness. When we're being more mindful, we're in the present moment, right? Focusing on what's going on now, as opposed to what happened in the past, or dwelling on what might happen in the future. Focus on right now. And then the forgiveness piece, maybe it's forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself for making a mistake or being too hard on yourself. If somebody else was involved, can you forgive them? Sometimes the forgiving somebody else is actually for yourself. It's not for the other person. So you're not hanging on to something and letting it take all your joy, because that's so easy to do. Number 9, fear of rejection. We often get caught up in this attachment to worrying about what other people are thinking about us and what we should do. So instead, try to embrace your authenticity. Try to look to your true north. Where are you headed? Where are you going? And then take steps to get there. And that'll help us to not feel so worried about the rejection, because we're focused on something different. We're focused on our path, the clear path that we've set for ourselves. So focus on your path. And maybe you just take a strategy you can use is taking calculated risks. So you take calculated risks to get to where you want to go, to get to your desired outcome. And maybe if you really hate rejection, you say, okay, I'm going to get 50 rejections. I'm going to do this and go for 50 rejections. I cannot remember Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul. When he first pitched Chicken Soup for the Soul, he had so many stinking rejections. It was crazy, crazy. So many rejections, and he did it anyway. I really can't remember. I feel like it was at least more than 50. He had so many rejections. People were not taking, like, no bites on the idea of Chicken Soup for the Soul. And look how successful it is now. So, like, he had to persevere. And maybe he said in his head, okay, I'll take 200 rejections. And he just kept going. And it's wildly popular now and has been for many years. Number 10, perfection. So switch, instead of focusing on perfection, focus on your progress. How much progress have you made? How much effort have you given? Progress is so much more encouraging than perfection, because we can never be perfect. We can never get there, but we forget to look at the tiny steps. And sometimes we don't celebrate any of the small steps. We get to the big one. We get to this major accomplishment that we wanted. We're like, oh, is this it? Because we didn't celebrate anything along the way. So we have to celebrate the small wins. That's what helps you to feel badass. When you're celebrating everything, like, not everything, but you're celebrating things every day. 3 things a day, 3 tiny wins a day, like I talked about at the very beginning of this episode. Look at that. Because if you don't celebrate how today went, you're not going to celebrate tomorrow. You're not going to celebrate the next big thing. Even though you think, like, oh yeah, when I get there, then I'll feel this way. I'll do this. Nope, you probably won't. So celebrate now. And consider, as a strategy, just setting realistic expectations, realistic goals for yourself. And then make sure you celebrate them. Celebrate the small things along the way. Okay, so, well, I was going to do a quick recap. Number 1, these are the things killing confidence, is when we attach to our abilities, attach to age, attachment to others. Number 4, when we attach to outcomes. Number 5, when we are attaching to the past. 6, comparison. 7 is external validation. 8, past failures and regrets. 9, fear of rejection. And 10 is perfectionism. So what did you think? Do any of those resonate with you? Have you been attaching to any of those things? It's okay if you have. We all do. Especially if we're not looking at it, it's easy to attach to those and put our confidence in those. And we're putting our confidence in the wrong thing. So take action. I would urge you to take action on one of those things today. So going forward, if you like this episode, if you want some coaching, I'm doing group coaching calls on Friday, and I would love for you to join. The dynamic when you're around other badasses is so stinking powerful. So I don't want you to miss it. Make sure you sign up for a group coaching call, ordinarytobadass.com/coaching, and get on that call on Friday. I love hearing from you and hearing your wins and helping you find your wins. Maybe if you're experiencing a roadblock, that's something a coach or a mentor can help you push past. So I want to see you there. ordinarytobadass.com/coaching. See you Friday. With that, we'll end our show. To all the badass women out there staying in the arena, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass, and get the chance to be on a future Spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.